Welcome back, everybody, to Ghosted, a paranormal podcast. I'm your host, Jake Thomas, and with me, as always, my good buddy, pal, and incredible co-host, Colton Spence. Colton, how you doing tonight, brother?
I'm doing pretty good, Jake. What about yourself?
Man, I'm doing great. It's been a great week. Excited to be back here again. We put out our first episode, our first live a few weeks ago. Missed last week. We had some family stuff come up, which happens from time to time. But we're back live tonight, and we got a good one for you guys. Uh, really, we're going to start out with is the big question. It's kind of like a main topic right now in the news and everything, and it's the end of times. And I put out there as a question is, are we nearing the end of times? And Colton, you are really all about this, and you've done a lot of research, a lot of studying on it. So we're going to let you explain your thoughts on why you think we are indeed at the end of time, nearing the end of times. And let me just say this before we get into this. Um, the end of times, we know we like we have said, we come from the Christian background. We study the Bible, we read it. Nobody knows when the end of time is, and we say the end of times. You may think, well, we mean like in our lifetime. It could be thousands of years from now. We're just playing it out in present day, perhaps. Who knows? But we'll let Colton explain his thoughts on that. So, Colton, go right ahead, man.
Yeah, so I'm gonna be coming from this from just a Christian perspective. When I'm talking about the end of times, I'm not talking about like some might call the apocalypse, maybe a
Yeah.
nuclear fallout, something like that. That's not what I'm really talking about. It's all biblical, and I believe that's what will happen, and not mass destruction from nuclear bomb, which that could be a part of it, uh, maybe. But the Bible, just like you said, Jake, no one knows the time of the hour.
Right.
It's supposed to be like that. We're not supposed to know the end. But the Bible gives us some signs, some clues that we know we might be getting close. And a big thing with this is people say, well, you look back in history and they always thought it was the end of times. You know, there's been wars all throughout our history, and right now too, of course. So we can't get too caught up in things like that, because I believe that there were probably some people that always thought it was the end. Instead, let's look at some of the more, you know, some different things that hasn't happened back then as much. So we need to look for mass earthquakes, it says in the Bible. These big weather events, anomalies. So they'll happen on a massive scale and they'll kill tons of people. So that's one thing we'll be looking for in the end times. Uh, Another will be just lawlessness in many different forms. And we're starting to see that a lot more, don't you think, Jake?
And yeah,
Especially in the cities, the big cities. It starts there and then it
just think about
creeps its
Chicago.
way. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So that's picked up a lot because not long ago, those big cities were in their prime and everybody was happy
Right.
running around the streets. Somebody got stabbed every now and then. No big deal. But now it's lawless.
Mm-hmm.
There's thousands of homeless people with needles hanging out of their arm. There's people getting shot, all this and that. So it's bad. It's bad. I think we can all agree on that. These certain big cities are horrible. And then you can go to any big city and it's not the best, a lot of homelessness everywhere. So that's a sign, I feel like maybe that could come into play. Uh, you know, all this UFO stuff, I think is pointing towards it. That's just me. It doesn't say that specifically, Jake, in the Bible,
Right.
but I think it's something significant. And there is a theory that comes into play with the rapture. The theory says that a lot of people are going to disappear suddenly, uh, and they're going to blame it on the aliens. That's the theory, and they'll tell
Interesting.
everybody else on this earth that it was the aliens that caused this big disappearance to try to pull away from the truth that it was Jesus Christ that raptured his people.
Right.
So the timeline is the rapture, I believe, and some things I've read will come before the a lot of the other stuff. So the rapture will come before the Antichrist, before the tribulation, and before Jesus Christ's second coming. So he'll rapture first, and then everything else will happen. So we can hopefully avoid a lot of bad stuff. So that's looking forward to that. Hopefully, I wish it would happen sooner than later. But yeah, the Antichrist will come into play. It's a big part of it. But if the rapture happened before that, I mean, you know. So that's just kind of some things. Yeah, what are you thinking, Jake? I'm sure you got some stuff to say.
Yeah, it's very interesting. And like I said when we start the show, you know, we may be playing out the end of the days as of right now, but we don't really know when that time and the place is going to be. We do know that it's in the Bible. Nobody knows the time, the hour, like you mentioned, Colton. Um, but it is very interesting on how some of the things you brought up are happening in today's society. We've got wars going on still. And there's been wars, throughout history, like you said, but it seems like it's just been a continual war for the last several years now. And there's it seems like there's no end in sight as of right now to them wars. Oh, we got two going on. And oddly enough, one of those wars is against God's chosen people in Israel. So that kind of leads to something, I would think, because God is going to protect his chosen people, and that's Israel. So it's very, very interesting how it's playing out. But you talk about the inner cities, the inner slums. These were vibrant communities and cities back, just to even say 30 to 40 years ago, and now they're burning city blocks down. They're burning buildings and everything. It's just lawlessness, like you said. And like I mentioned, Chicago, there's been several videos that have come out, of even policemen who have taken videos. It just sounds like a war zone in South Side Chicago, and the police are pretty much hamstrung, can't do nothing because of all the gun laws and the laws that they have in those cities, and it's played out more for the criminal than it is for the law, in these cities. So yeah, it's bad, man. And I'm with you. It's if we are in, no doubt, in the end of times, and the rapture comes first, uh I just want to tell people to make sure that you're on that flight home. You do not want to miss that, because it's in the Bible. The 7 years of tribulation, it's pretty much just absolute hell for a Christian that is left behind. And you do not want to go through that. You want to be in the rapture. So the only really thing I can say is make sure you get your life right with God and Jesus. And because that's something you don't want to miss, and you don't want to be a part of that tribulation period before the actual war of God comes back and Jesus comes back and takes all his people home.
Right. You said it good there, Jake. And I like to talk about the facts and stuff like that. Like David Politis comes to mind. He
Right.
talks about just the facts, and he doesn't deviate from that. He rarely gives his opinion. Uh, I like to give the facts, but then also I like to go, I like to give my opinion. And I'm about to go off the rails probably and just kind of give my opinion. I don't know. I just like to do that sometimes.
That's fine. Go right ahead.
I mean, just sticking to the facts. I mean, I like facts. I try to get to the truth, but there's just two different ways of going about it, I guess. So it's like, you just look at things. The government, it's falling apart,
Yeah.
and the U.S. is at the center of it all. Now you can say Israel is too, but dadgum, everybody looks to the U.S.
Mhm.
And us being immersed in the culture, we're American citizens, United States. We see what's going on.
Right.
It's bad, and the world's superpower is crumbling before our eyes. That's looking like some end time stuff right there.
It
It
does.
really is. And what the heck? They're talking about aliens on Fox News. What is that? Is
Right.
is that not crazy?
Yeah.
It's a big deception, I think. I think they're demons. Tucker Carlson said that. I just saw a clip today. He was saying that. He
Yeah.
didn't say it like I'm saying it, but he said, yeah, in a roundabout way. This is biblical and they're demons.
Hmm.
And it's a big deception. Uh, that's a that's looking like some end time stuff. The demons, they're coming out like crazy. Uh, that's a end times thing. Demons will torment people in the end times. So that's kind of a big one. And we can look at things like the mark of the beast. That
Yeah.
is lining up to take place.
Oh yeah.
They have
Absolutely.
the World Economic Forum and things like that. They're trying to steer the world into the path. They won't do it all of a sudden. They're gonna align this to make it happen. So, you know, a one world currency, things like that. You won't be able to buy or sell without the mark. We saw a little bit of that during COVID, didn't we, Jake?
Mm.
We people couldn't get jobs if they didn't get the shot. People couldn't.
People lost
They
jobs if they didn't get the shot.
they got fired. A lot of people got
Yeah.
fired for that, or they was forced to quit or
Hmm.
get the shot. One or the other, and that's horrible. Is that not? Does that sound American to everyone
No.
here? I mean, no,
No.
it don't.
That don't sound like anything like freedom.
It sounds like the mark of the beast. It sounds like it was a test run a little bit.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I'm gonna just throw this out there. I'm not a scientist, but the scientist said, this is fact, that if you got the shot, you still will get it, but your symptoms will hopefully be lesser than before, but you'll have the virus fully. So if I can still get the virus and spread it just as much if I didn't have it, why do you want me to get the shot? It was all about power. So
Right.
what we have to do there is we have to reject it fully, you know, that you give an inch, they take a mile. That's the old saying. So if they try to take a mile, we need to take two
Right.
from them. That's what we should do. But that's not political. That's not political at all. None of that is. But speaking of politics, I mean, I don't like to talk about it, but dadgum, look at it.
Mhm.
Is it not crazy? You have a demented old man, a puppet. I don't know if, you know, anyway, it's looking pretty bad, to be honest. It's looking bad. And personally, I think that we are in the end times. I think we're at the last quarter at least, the home stretch.
Mhm.
I don't think we're building up anymore to things starting to happen. I think, yeah, the grand finale I feel is what's going on here, Jake. That's what I think. Uh, I mean, look around. There's evil everywhere.
Oh yeah.
It's hard to miss. And I mean, this witchcraft and pagan ideas, they're going crazy. And another thing, another sign is that you know, a lot of people will hear about Christ in the end times.
Mhm.
everyone on this earth will hear about it. And it says that in the Bible. So there's a lot of people being saved right now and
Oh yeah.
baptized. There were mass baptisms in Los Angeles, California,
Of
and
all
in other,
places. Of all
yeah, of all
places.
places, and in other countries as well. But
Yeah.
things like this aren't in mainstream media typically. So you really have to look at it, seek it out. So, you know, the state of the world is bad. And you don't need to be, all doom and gloom all the time, but just kind of open your eyes and look. I feel that that's what we should do. Uh, I don't know, man. I think we're in the end times. That's just me. Uh, I don't know. Just went on a little rant there. Not political. Just I got
Just
the
enough.
coffee here. I got coffee. I'm drinking it.
Which I'm glad to
Uh,
see you on that back by the way.
yeah, I'm back on the coffee. Feeling pretty good. Spilled half of it before the show started.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So, but yeah, it's something to think about. It is.
Yeah, it is. Which I'm glad you brought all that up because we was talking about the end of times that we wanted to lead with that, and we was going to get a good 15 or 20 minute segment out of it. We've talked a good bit about it. Um, then you brought up the demons, and that was the second part of what we was going to talk about tonight: demons, ghosts, spirits, stuff like that. Which we kind of touched on a little bit of that on our live a few weeks ago, but you know the biggest thing is what we're trying to figure out here is like we've talked about, are there two different things here walking on this earth? Are there spirits and demons, or are they all demons? And if you watched last week's episode, you know where we fall on this topic. I feel like that there's two different beings or two different spirit forms here, one being a ghost and the other being demons. And Colton believes this, they're all demons, which that's what we're here to find out. And so yeah, but man, I could talk about a lot of quote ghost stories and things like that. But you know it makes you wonder on that topic, because I have seen, and I've been in the investigation side for a while, but you bring up a good point about it manipulates you. That's what demons do. So it's open to my mind about, okay, maybe I was being manipulated by a demon. Perhaps it was acting like a friendly spirit, but in reality it wasn't. um I do vividly remember um a an investigation we did at a church, and we was talking to somebody that was a former member of that church. They told us, because we was using the dowsing rods, and it was answering our questions that we had and stuff. But I do remember one of my investigators got 3 claw marks on them. Now, why would that spirit that we was talking to scratch them? I don't know. Maybe there's another one there that was hidden and dormant and was just manipulating that one to catch us off guard. That way it can attack my investigator. I don't know. But it's sitting here just making me wonder, okay, maybe I have been duped when I was ghost hunting. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, we do know that they like to lie. They
Yeah.
like to manipulate and things like that. Countless stories I've heard. They say a name, a normal name. There's Susie that died in the 1950s in an accident, and then people keep talking to them, and then things will spiral out of control, and in the end they realize it was a demon the whole time. Uh, but even in the Christian world, they some people believe that there are souls that are lingering. So uh, it just depends on the person you talk to. People that are
Right.
involved in that sort of spiritual warfare, exorcist area, they sometimes they say come across that that's not a demon, just a lingering soul, and they pray for that person, and they say that will oftentimes fix it. They'll move on,
Mhm.
but then others will say no, they're all demons. So it is difficult. Uh, I guess just call their bluff every
Yeah.
time, and if it works, it works, and if it don't, it don't. Uh, it's super interesting. I mean, these demons want to talk to you.
Right.
They want to talk. They're waiting for that invitation because we know what they like. I mean, they like chaos. They like to hurt you and your family. In the end, they would like to possess you, but they can't just do that out of their free will. It has to be a progressive thing oftentimes, but sometimes it's just invitation type thing. And it's some dark stuff. I mean, dark stuff. You just can't trust them.
No.
You can't trust them. And I don't know where you draw the line. This is what I struggle with in a investigation, things like that. Where's the line at that you should not do stuff? But then, before you step over that line and let them have, free reign to do what they
Before you
want.
provoke it, pretty much.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And a man of God, an exorcist, they can provoke a demon. I mean,
Mhm.
they're not in there to lose that battle. The
Right.
exorcists they're coming for the demon. So, I mean, is that not cool? They're coming in there to take that thing out, to
Right.
get rid of it, and they're not scared. So they don't care. They're going to make this thing mad,
Right.
but they don't care. They're getting rid of it. So it's you don't want to give them the legal right to follow you home and mess with your family, I guess you could say. So, is there things you won't do, Jake, in an investigation?
I'm not really. I've pretty much done it all. And Colton, we've done one investigation together, and we're hoping to get more out of with this podcast and get out in the field, learning how to do the investigation side of things, especially you. But what I normally do when we go in investigation, what my crew did back in the day was, we start with just simple questions. Give us your name. Um, how'd you die? Did you live here? Stuff like that, and we'll just get a general feel of the building, and then or the area we're at. And if we feel like something's there but it's not responding, then that's when I start poking it just a little bit, like, okay, I know you're here, do something to prove it. um and then if it's still not, just being kind of dormant, I'm just like, okay, I know you're here, and I want you to come and you know hit me, or do something to me physically. So I'm inviting it pretty much in when I do that, because you know we want that evidence. So that, I mean, I there's nothing that I pretty much won't do. But the thing about our group, and we did this, Colton, whenever we did our investigation, we'd pray beforehand, and that puts a layer of shielding over us. And I don't feel like anything can harm us when we do that, because the Lord's with us, and He's going to protect us. And so yeah, that but I do go in, and I try to get that spirit or whatever it is to physically attack me or somebody on the team. That way we get that evidence. you know
And that's pretty brave. I don't know that
Mhm.
I'll
Well,
invite
I'll
it
do it
to
for you.
attack me. Yeah, you go ahead. uh, I'll be there on standby with a cross just to pull it off of you.
What about holy water?
Yeah,
Just
we need holy water. I feel like we do.
yeah,
Yeah,
and the
it's gonna be
Bible for
crazy.
sure.
I mean, Ed and Lorraine Warren,
Mhm.
it's cool because they're in between. They provided uh, a great service
Mhm.
because they were Christians and they were going in there to help people.
Right.
They weren't the exorcist. You know, they brought them in
Right.
afterwards if it was indeed a massive problem. But they went in to find the problem and to figure out what it was. And that's that's something that we need around here, you know. And then the problem can be solved. So I know that's our goal, Jake, is to get in
Mhm.
there and to, figure out the problem.
Right.
And if it's like a demon or a bunch of them, it needs to be handled. It needs to be
Right.
fixed. And it could be a lingering spirit, a ghost. And at that point, well, it doesn't seem like such a problem compared to a demon, but you got to diagnose the problem in the end. So
Right.
that's, you wouldn't want to be the guys that go in there and is like, yeah, you got like 20 demons in your house, and then you just leave. That would
Hey,
be
bye.
that'd be horrible. Yeah.
What's bad is
But
a lot of them will go in there and like, yeah, you have 100 demons in your house, and yeah, you can write the check out to Ghosted, for $585 for our service. No, we don't do that.
yeah,
Ours is absolutely free.
that'd be pretty mean right there.
It would be.
But yeah, you know, I think a great tool in that is just talking to the family.
Right.
Because, man, like we know, there's a reason. There's always a reason. No matter if it's a ghost or a demon, it's
Mhm.
still a reason. There's going to
Right.
be a point of entry there. And it could be the family moved into a house, therefore there would be no help in solving the issue. If they just moved into a new house, they wouldn't know
Right.
the reason that
That's
could
why you
have
got to do your
happened.
research. You got to do your
Right.
history, all that. Yep.
Exactly. It's kind of like detective work if you think about it.
Right.
Very exciting. I'd love to get on one and
Oh, absolutely. We're going
you
to.
know, yeah, help some people out.
Yeah.
Uh, something's gonna come up.
Yeah.
I told you about that one place, Jake. It's like an old medium's house or place of business, and
Mm.
it's run down, abandoned. I don't know. That's just an idea. It'd be kind of like a cold call. You don't know if there's anything there, but
Right.
with that sort of activity, it just could be. It's kind of shot in the dark. Shot in the dark. But yeah, we need something solid,
Yeah.
something significant. So hopefully something soon will come up.
I think something will. It's a matter of time. And the biggest thing, Colton, is while we're closing, our closing statements here, getting ready to get off tonight. It's been a great show, but there's a lot of people out there who's having this paranormal activity that are scared to talk about it, and they're just living with it because they don't want to be made fun of. Well, contact us. I mean, we have our faces now on YouTube that is distributed throughout the entire world talking about these paranormal entities. I don't care what people think about me. You know, I do not care. I'm here doing this because this is a topic that I love. This is a topic that you love. And this is something that I want to do in the future. And that is to help people get either solve their cases or get the necessary help that they need and help them out. Because I feel like it's a dying art. And people need to be talking about this because honestly, Colton, we talked about it before. If you actually don't watch the TV news because you won't see it in the mainstream media, do your own research. How many times I said that? Do your own research. Something about the paranormal is in the news daily. So it is a topic that is alive and well right now, and it's real. It is real as real can be. You just got to do your research. And if you are dealing with a demon, I'm telling you, do not go about it by yourself because you could end up like Colton said. The absolute tragedy is getting possessed. So do not handle this thing by yourself. Call somebody, let them know, that you have a problem. Call us. Maybe they'll call us. We'll be glad to help you out. Absolutely free of charge.
Right. Exactly. I like to talk more about demons in depth on a future
Yes.
episode, like on YouTube. I know we have on the podcast just the
Mm-hmm.
audio, but I would love to do it on the YouTube since I think we can get different people listening. Because I
Mm-hmm.
think people need to know about this. Because know your enemy, right?
Right.
Uh, and you said people are afraid of getting made fun of. That's exactly right. People are, and I'm about to start making fun of everybody who doesn't believe. I'm gonna make fun of them.
Yeah.
Have you been living under a rock, like for real? Like
Don't we
you don't.
work with some of those?
Yeah, and we'll make fun of them. That's just
You're right.
how
I
it's gonna
already
be.
do.
Yeah, but yeah, the people that are afraid, you have no idea that people like us are more common than you think,
Oh yeah.
and we just happen to figure it out before some people, unfortunately, but everybody else can catch up,
Yeah.
and that's what we're here. We're trying to catch everybody up on what's really happening. I feel like so, and it's a big puzzle. We're still putting it together, but at least we know the paranormal exists. Like we're not
Mhm.
that far behind. Some
Right.
people are so far behind. I don't know if they'll ever catch up. But
Mhm.
yeah, that's what we got to do. And we got to make fun of them before they
Yeah.
make fun of us. Maybe it's probably not the right way to go about it, but I don't care.
Um, I mean, I do not care about being made fun of anymore.
Yeah, yeah,
So I'm doing this because it's a topic that I love. I've experienced things in my life that I want answers to, and the only way I'm going to be able to do that is talking to others like you, Colton, on this topic, and getting my hands dirty on an investigation. So that's the only way I'm going to get the answers that I want. And so that's why we're doing this.
that's right. And yeah, hopefully soon we'll get on something. Then
Mhm.
we'll have great stories to tell on here, and it's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, and I'm thinking if we do an investigation, going live on YouTube would be fun as well.
Oh
Having the
yeah,
live footage up there. So that's something that we'll have in the works. This channel, I'm hoping got 22 views. I know that don't sound like a lot, but our very first episode, 22 views, 23 views, I think now. Um, it will grow. Hopefully, those 22 people tell another 22. That's what, 44. So hopefully, it doubles. This episode doubles, and the next one double, and the next one double, and then here we go. We're looking at 500 subscribers in 6 months time. Just spread the word to guys. Just help us out. And like I always say, if you got a paranormal activity that that you need help on, please let us know. Me and Colton, be glad to come out there and help you. So, Colton, you got anything else for tonight?
I don't think so. I don't think we really begin to touch on the topic of end times, really. But I mean, it's a big one. There's a lot to it, a lot of biblical stuff, and I mean, it was a good start, I guess. It's something to think about. Uh, you know, yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, it's just like every paranormal topic. There's going to be multitudes of episodes that's going to follow. Because you just can't talk about explain everything in one episode and get it all out there. It's just not enough time. So we'll be back with the end of times prophecy. We'll be back again with some more ghosts and demons talk. Next week we've got a fun one for you, I believe. Colton, I think me and you talked about that today. But yeah, I'm not going to tell y'all what it is. I'm going to tease you guys with it. But anyway, guys, thank you all for listening. Hopefully, eventually we'll get some live members in here, chat it up with us. That'd be fun to hear your stories. If you got questions, be fun to answer them. So, just help us grow. Uh, please like, share, and subscribe. That'll help us grow as well. Get people in the chat, answer your questions. If you got questions for us, just say it down there in the comments. You want to criticize us, that's fine. I'll give Colton the YouTube app and just let him go to town on you and call you an idiot, whatever. So anyway, that's what I'll let him be the bully, of the group. So yeah. But anyway, Colton, I appreciate you getting on tonight. It's been fun. This has been Ghosted Paranormal Podcast with your host, Jay Thomas and Colt Spinks. And we will be back next Thursday night with a brand new episode. Stay tuned for that. And we will see y'all on the other side and next Thursday. Good night.